Have y'all heard the story of Job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna do a quick little rundown. He was a very wealthy man, right? He was also very righteous, and he was a faithful man to God. He also lived with integrity, but then suddenly he lost everything because Satan was talking to God, and he was like, "He's only faithful because you've given him protection and all the stuff, like all the blessings you've given him. That's the only reason he's faithful to you." So God gave Satan permission to test Job. He took away his kids, his money, and even his health declined during that time. But the whole goal was to see if Job would crack and start cursing God and just stop having faith in God because of all the stuff that was happening to him. Job said in Job 121, he said, "I came naked from my mother's womb, and I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord." Job said this after everything had got taken away from him. And yet he still chose to praise the Lord and have faith in him. But what I'm trying to get at is God will do the same thing. He'll test us sometimes to prove our faith, because sometimes people will come away from their faith, right, whenever hard times hit, and they'll just stop trusting God because they're like, why would God do this to me if he really loves me? And then they'll turn away from Christianity as a whole, maybe, or just like lose a little bit of faith. I seen this one stat. It was like either 1 or 3 out of every. I think it was 1 out of every 10 Christians will stay Christians throughout their whole life. It was either 1 or 3. I can't remember, but I just think most of that is because like they go through hard times, and like everybody's going to go through hard moments, but you just can't give up. And I think that those 9 out of 10 people that did give up, that would give up statistically, like I think that's the main reason as to why they give up. It's because they just lose faith. But faith isn't based on feelings, right? Because he was hurting deeply, and yet he still chose to praise the Lord through that hard time. I heard someone say this once. It was the teacher's always silent during the test. So like that just says to me like God will test you, and he's gonna remain silent just for a little bit to see how you'll react. And if you remain faithful, then the same thing that happened to Job will happen to you, which I'll get to that in a minute. But basically he lived like 140 years after that, and he got like a bunch of more animals. He got kids again, and like his life was amazing after that just because he had faith in the Lord. But you have to remember when stuff is going like wrong in your life that God is still in control. And Job said in Job 2:10, "You talk like a foolish woman. Should we accept only good things from the hand of God and never anything bad?" Which that's just kind of self-explanatory. Like we can't just accept the good things and only remain faithful to God that way.
Right.
We gotta act like Job and even remain faithful to God during those hard times.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got some questions for you. Why do you think God allowed Job to go through the suffering?
Because I think in the grand scheme of things, it brought him closer to God, because now God knows completely that he's
He didn't
a loyal.
give up on him.
Yeah, I think God knew that Job would get over that hump of Satan testing him, because God was the one that gave Satan permission to test Job in the first place. So I feel like he knew he would he would get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think suffering can sometimes make people stronger in their faith, but also make other people run away?
I think it all depends where you start at in faith. Because if you get tested in a good time, then it could start off a lot stronger. But it really just depends, because
Because like if you're not consistent, you're not gonna really.
you don't have as much faith to run on.
Yeah.
But just having a ton of faith at the beginning is the biggest way you can overcome things.
Yeah, for sure.